Hey, hello. My name is Germán Safi. I come from Argentina and I study philosophy.
Hey, hello! I'm Raquel, I'm from Spain, and I'm studying here my third year of translation and interpretation of English. Wait a minute, who are you?
I'm Ming, and I'm from the United States, and I'm studying business. We are students in the KU Leuven, and we are taking the class Film and Literature. The class we're assigned to, we talk about polysystemic theory and how it could be applied to screwball comedies. Polysystemic theory. The polysystemic theory of film is the approach to analyze films. The theory takes into account the multiple systems that are involved in creating a film. To make a film, these systems interconnect with one another. This is very visible in the making process of screwball comedy, comedic films, and then we will talk about that later. There are 5 elements. The first one is institution. It's a traditional framework where a film is made, taking into account features like narrative style and theater projection. For example, Hollywood-style films. Another element is producer. An example of this is the shift from silent to talking movies in 1927. The cost to produce talking movies became 10 times more expensive than before, so many production companies went out of business because the cost to produce a talking movie were way too high. Due to this, filmmakers needed to appeal to the studios in order to face the production costs of the movie. This affected the director's potential original version. Another element is market. This is the relationship between the film and public, and it refers to talking movies. The shift to talking movies was extremely successful, and for that reason, in all the films, the soundtrack took an important role. In the case of screwball comedies, the combination of music, voices, and all kinds of sounds became very popular. For example, we can see or hear in Bringing Up Baby the funny attempt of a character trying to imitate the roar of a leopard. The fourth element is public. Women were the target to entertain because they were the ones who decided which movie to watch when they were in a couple. Some examples is the film Vertigo, which had a love story and then appealed to women. The last element was repertoire, and it is linked to the notion of genre. All the films should be easily recognized in the genre, such as Western, melodrama, comedy, etc. The cinema is simply reusing the already existing genres in literature.
Screwball comedy began in 1930s with It Happened One Night by Frank Capra and continues until 1940. These comedies are comedic versions of traditional melodramas. Some of its common elements are outlandish situations, foul talking, wily repartee, music mixed with voices, etc. They are crazier and much more intense than traditional comedies. One subgenre of Screwball is known as the comedy of remarriage. Divorce was a common issue in society at the time. Your finger, please. No, again. Thank you. I was saying that divorce was a common issue in society at the time, and it was reflected by the many Screwball comedy plots. It frequently involves a couple who is married at the beginning of the film and then divorces. They go through funny situations which complicates the relationship, but ultimately end up back together. Excuse me. I still need it, thank you. According to Cable, Screwball comedies are philosophical films that are modern versions of Shakespeare plays. They are philosophical because they take us to real problems of life. So the traditional comedies are, in some way, are versus Shakespearean comedy. Traditional comedy usually involves a boy and girl who belong to different social levels, and the father of the girl, usually richer, is against the relationship because of their different social statuses. Shakespearean comedies are more democratic. There is an absence of children, father and societies in comparison to the traditional model. The couple has equal society level and they usually have money and pets. The only difference between the couple is intellectual and philosophical. Comedic situations come out when the boy and girl spend many days together. They try to separate, but it's not possible at the end.
So now we are going to talk about the Screamers comedy. One of the Screamers comedy that we watched in the class was Bringing a Baby. It's about David Hasley, a paleontologist, and his assistant Alice Swallow, who are going to get married, but she's more interested in his work than the person that he is. There is another woman interested in the professor, Susan Vance, that tries to be with him all the time. She uses her pet leopard baby to trick him into driving to her Connecticut home, where her dog steals the vital last bone that he needs to complete his project. The real trouble begins when another leopard escapes from the local zoo and baby is mistaken for it, leading Huxley and Susan into a series of harebrained and increasingly more insane exchanges. Through their travels, the paleontologist and Susan fall in love. The main character is a kind of philosopher. He doesn't see real life since he's in love with him, and he does not realize it. Although it's a Screwball comedy, it's not a revenge comedy. It's still about marriage, although at the end the couple does not get married. It's a complex film. The film stops when she comes to see him in the museum. She doesn't manage to kiss him. The film stops before the real ends. For that reason, it's the most complex comedy. A modern Screwball comedy will be intolerable cruelty. And now we are going to talk about Cable, who is an American philosopher. He claims that the Screwball comedy provides as much understanding of the human condition as philosophy. That's because they are about everyday life. He even goes further when he states that philosophy should become less metaphysical and be more relatable to everyday life. And with this regard, it should be much closer to the Screwball comedy approach of life. This particular philosophy proposed by Cable is only possible in the USA due to the convergence of the commercial cinema and the peculiar philosophy of the kind of Emerson and Thoreau that takes place only there.
So this was our summary of the class. See us next time.
Same channel?
Same time.
I will cast the same week.